So what did you think of the Black Widow film?
I liked it. I liked it quite a bit. I had a couple little minor quibbles with it, but overall I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I was telling Rick before you hopped on, like it wasn't my favorite MCU film by any stretch of the imagination,
I'm just
but
not
it
a huge
wasn't
Black
bad.
Widow fan.
Like I don't know, it's
Well,
weird.
here's go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say the audience score is like a 94 on Rotten Tomatoes, which doesn't really mean anything. But then like it's got like an 80 something like critic review.
Do they show Taskmaster? Like
Yeah, and Taskmaster, like it was
they finally
spoiler alert. This is gonna be spoiler. It's in the title, so I guess it's fine. But Taskmaster was it, people. It was rumored that it was gonna be a female, and it was a female, and like. I'm perfectly fine with being a female, but it was just really stupid in my opinion. Like what? Because they didn't do anything with it. Like, you know what I mean? That was one of the things I thought was really annoying. They didn't do anything with Taskmaster as a villain to begin with. He just kind of showed up a few times, and then like the big reveal, they don't really spend any time on it. They kept talking about Black Widow having gotten his daughter killed and all this stuff, but they didn't show it. So there was no emotional connection that we had to that event at all.
yeah.
Yeah, they
Like
did.
they didn't show like her with her prior to like the thing happening. So we you know what I mean? Like we didn't see Natasha with that girl like hanging
Was she
out, and then
supposed
like she
was
just
she supposed to
like
be
I'm looking at a
was she,
picture of her.
is that what the thing was, that she befriended her in order to get close? Because I thought she was just tracking her. I thought she just knew that he wouldn't go anywhere without her and tracked her to that location. Once she was there, she knew that he had to be there as well, and
yeah.
that's when she ordered in the hit.
Yeah, but it seemed like because every time when the reveal happens, they made it seem like she, like, cared for the girl in some way. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, she was crying every time that,
Yeah.
like, came around. So I'm like, what kind of relationship did they have? Like, it made it seem
Oh,
like
I
she,
just
like,
I
cared
just
for her.
see, I didn't get that at all. I just assumed that it was Natasha feeling guilty over a little girl. I mean, like she had to take that dude out, but like she told her sister, like she was collateral damage, and it's like, I don't know. Like it's like I don't know. I I would hope that, presidents that order drone strikes on military facilities that are in civilian populations and end up killing kids, that would get to them, that they would be, you know, emotionally scarred by having to order stuff like that. Yes, ultimately the greater good, you know, debatably is that, this evil person that's doing these even evil things that's affecting hundreds, if not thousands of more people, is taken out, but you're also sacrificing, in this case, a little girl, an innocent little girl. And so that was my impression of it, was just that she was beating herself up over the fact that she was directly responsible for this little girl having been killed.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense too. It just seemed like I don't know, it felt like she cared for her more. Like, I don't know. It's just what it
Mhm.
seemed like, and I was just like, "Well, why does she care this much about it?" Like, I get what you're saying, and that makes sense because that's what, like, the film kinda actually shows you. But
Yeah.
just, like, I don't know, I felt like they made it seem like she had, like, much more of a connection to her before, I don't know, it's just weird. Like,
Yeah, I mean, if other people are having an issue, I guess other people picked on that. I was not something I got out of it, but yeah,
I don't know if
that's
anyone
like
else feels that
that's
way,
an
that's just what
interpretation.
I just thought, like,
Yeah.
because like, Taskmaster is despite whatever she was prior, and she feels guilty about that at all, like, that's not really she at this point in time, she doesn't know, like, if the little toxin thing would bring her back, you know what I mean?
So that's what happens though. They
Like, she
give
has
it to
no
her.
idea if, like, she's just being brainwashed in the same capacity. So it just seemed weird that she was gonna, like just let them out and just hope that it works and, like, not you know what I mean? I thought that was weird because, like, the dude even says, like, I had to put, like, a chip in her neck and, like, all this stuff, so it's just, like,
Yeah, that
presumably,
was a
like
weird line because that never came back to play, did it? Like, I assumed as soon as he said that chip, like, that was gonna be the thing she had to do. Like, she had when she fought her,
yeah,
she was gonna have to, like, do a move to the back of her head or use her widow's sting on the back of her neck to, like, fry that chip or something,
get
and that
something.
never they never went back to that. That was a weird inclusion.
Yeah, and they only
It was
show anything happening with it one time, like, at the
with
very
the chip?
beginning. Yeah,
Oh, when
way
they're
earlier in the
downloading the
movie.
information?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And, like,
yeah.
that's the only time you see it. That's why I was just like, so, like, you're just gonna let them out and you don't know, like,
She's a
if
Bond
it's gonna
girl.
work. I don't know. I was like, "Eh, whatever."
I mean,
She's
I
a
guess at that point, I mean, I went along with it because I felt like it was Nat basically being like, "This is my chance. If I die, I die. Whatever. This is my chance to if I can get through this chick and, get her back, whatever on the side of good or apologize and whatever, then this is my chance to right that wrong. If I die, I die doing it." I mean, she didn't have a whole lot else going on at that time period because the Avengers were disbanded and she was kind of off on her own. So I don't know. I see where you're coming from too. It makes perfect sense. Like, yeah, she has no guarantee that any of this stuff is going to work, and that if her plan is to free her to release her, she doesn't know that she's going to be able to.
Yeah. Oh. It's kinda it's all gonna work out in the end anyway, but,
I
like
So basically, Taskmaster becomes a good person after the antidote. They escape and blah blah blah. I'm reading about it.
yeah,
yes,
100%. Like, but Taskmaster only had I mean, the dude the character was only in the movie for, like, a solid 10 minutes, like, I think.
Really?
yeah, only for the action scenes. She was
Yeah.
not in any way. I mean, she doesn't speak until the very end of the movie after she's been freed.
Yeah.
So, I
The actress that played her looks so different, like in the movie.
I yeah, I felt
Oh,
really
sweet.
dumb because I
Well,
Thanks, babe.
identified. Like, I was sure that it was a I was sure that Taskmaster was a chick after about 5 minutes of the movie. I never pieced together that it was his daughter, and I should have.
yeah.
If I feel like I got half of the test right, but I should have
Mhm.
gotten the other half. I mean, if I had gotten that far on it, I should have been able to piece the rest together. Somehow I just completely missed it. But
Yeah.
they
I
weren't
didn't
show
think
they
it
weren't
was a girl, though, like, the rumors about it being a girl, like, came out, like, forever ago, but visually I just kinda just disregarded it because it looks like a dude structurally, like, physically.
sure.
But then as soon as that scene starts happening, I'm like, "Oh, okay, it's definitely the daughter," and then surely enough, the mask comes off and it's the daughter. It was like, "Okay." Like
See, I knew early on it just didn't make sense. Like, they were housing Taskmaster in the Red Room,
oh,
and
yeah, it
there
makes
were
perfect sense.
only chicks there. Like, I hadn't heard that rumor, and so I only know Taskmaster from the comics. So I going into it, I thought it was a guy. But then early on, like, they show Taskmaster in the Red Room. They show only females interacting with her. Like, there were no other males there, and it just was like, okay, so she's going to be one of the widows. She's going to be
Mhm.
like an enhanced widow, which made sense as a foil to Black Widow. You've got, the escaped ultimate widow that escaped everything going up against the ultimate widow that's still part of indoctrinated into the system. So that the whole thing made sense from that. And somehow I just wasn't smart enough to put together that it was his daughter. I should have been, but
You can't get them
Interesting.
all.
yeah.
Do what?
I said interesting.
I just wish they would've spent more time with, like, the family because that was the best part of the movie.
Sure.
Like, and Red
That was
Guardian was awesome. I loved, dude in the role,
he was so good. Yeah,
David Harbour.
David Harbour, thank you.
Does
He
he
was
have
really
Russian
good.
accent?
Yeah, they
Yep.
all used
Yep.
Russian accents. I mean, even Scarlett used one at
Yeah.
like, to talk to them every once in a while.
Right.
Yeah.
The only thing I'll say about David Harbour, the Red Guardian's character, that I was a little disappointed in, is he felt just kind of like he was there for comic relief.
Mhm.
That's
Like,
what I thought from the trailer.
he doesn't ultimately have a like I felt like the mother played a more significant role in the actual plot than he ever did.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they at least made it out, and like even Black Widow literally tells him that like he's stupid. So like at least they made him be like a kind of dim-witted character, so unlike
Sure.
Drax, right? Because Drax isn't really supposed to be that way,
That's just
but they
comic
just leaned
relief.
into it because it worked in the first one. So now he's just stupid comic relief. Like
That's
Yeah.
literally all it is. Yeah.
as opposed to at least they like explicitly said like this dude's dumb. Like, that
Yeah.
just is what it is. But he had some heartfelt moments though, which I appreciated. They just didn't
Yeah.
last very long. Like they had when he starts singing American Pie with Yelena, and
Yep.
then you don't even get to relish that moment. That's just right into an action scene. Like it just
Yeah.
I was just like, well, we could have just let that play out for a little bit. Like
Sure.
and then at the very end when he like grabs Natasha's hand and stuff because he's just like I'll just mess this up if I try to say anything. So,
Yeah, that was a good part.
yeah. So, like, I would be totally down to see, like, a Red Guardian prequel movie and it'll be that shit from the '80s that he was talking about. You know what I mean? Like, fighting Cap.
I'm sure there will be a Red Guardian
That'd be
movie
good.
Like,
or a
do
show.
do you think that Cap was unfrozen? He wasn't unfrozen. We know he wasn't
No,
unfrozen at
but
some
it would
point,
have
right?
been
Because
Isaiah. It
Yeah.
would have been Isaiah
oh, I see what you're
Bradley.
saying. Okay. Okay.
You know,
So he fought
or Winter
Kate.
Soldier, one of the two.
Okay.
It would have had to have
Okay.
been either or. Like,
Okay.
they coulda threw Bucky into like, Hydra coulda threw Bucky, like, into a cat costume to do some
Costume.
covert op,
Yeah.
or it was, Isaiah Bradley, if that's his name, I can't remember. I
It
always
is Isaiah Bradley.
Yeah,
okay,
it's
because I
Isaiah
remember I
Bradley. Yeah.
said a basketball player's name at one point because it was very
Isaiah
sim
Thomas.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was just like, "It's totally that."
Yeah.
But, yeah, so it would be that. My guess is that it would be that, because that would be the only way Cap would have been around,
Sure.
theoretically.
Okay.
Theoretically.
I mean, I guess they could I don't know. You can't really unfreeze him 30 years early and no one know about it, and then he gets frozen
And then
again.
yeah, he gets frozen again, and then when he
Yeah,
wakes up, he has no memory of it either.
yeah,
So yeah.
yeah, so it'd be cool to see that, though, I think. I don't know if they would
Yeah.
do it, but it'd be pretty cool. Because it could just be a quick thing. The movie obviously wouldn't center around the Isaiah Bradley Captain America character. It'd center around Red Guardian, and then just that scene happens.
Yeah.
And it'd be kinda like
Mhm.
the intro of Captain America in Infinity War, where he's just, like, in the train station, it's in the dark, and then the music starts playing, and then bam! The lights hit him, and you're like, "Oh, shit, it's Isaiah Bradley. Now the story makes sense," like
Right. That would kinda tie together from, Falcon and Winter Soldier.
although, what doesn't make much sense is he knows who Captain America is. He even asked Black Widow if he had ever mentioned Red Guardian before. So he has to know that the Captain America that she has worked with is the white Chris Evans Captain America.
Yeah, not Isaiah Bradley.
You know what I mean? Because he would know, like, that it wasn't the
Yeah.
same person. So it does kind of
Yeah.
throw a wrench in the whole thing.
Well, and Isaiah Bradley was Cap before Steve Rogers. He was who they tested it on, so that would have been prior to World War II too. We don't
Yeah, but
have
he'd
any
still be
indication that
alive
he
and
was
Cap
Cap.
would have been on ice.
Sure, we just don't have any information that he went back to being Cap after like any other time.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know if I don't remember when they said in Falcon Winter Soldier when he was released from prison because they kept him in prison for God knows how long. So, like, if
Yeah.
they could have had him locked up, but still forcing him to do missions, like, while he's being detained, like, that would have been the only way I would kinda work that in if they were gonna do that, but still wouldn't explain how he doesn't realize that the Captain America he would have thought would have been a black guy, and the one she's working with is a white guy. So,
Right.
Mhm.
if that was the case, because else I don't know how Cap would be there at that point, unless, like I said, maybe it was Bucky in a Cap suit, but then that's just a whole other thing they'd have to try to explain for no reason.
Nah.
Unless there were just other, like, Captain Americas that no one knows about. The thing that was weird, though, too, is that, like, they had, like, Taskmaster was obviously a super soldier. Like, because she was, like, kicking and throwing Black Widow, like, 15 feet. Like,
Yeah.
so, like, why don't they just it's I don't know, I guess it's just your typical comic book stuff where they only have one super soldier serum laying around.
Right. So there's only one person that has it.
Yeah. Even though you had Bucky, Red Guardian, and well, I guess technically they were Hydra's a bunch of Germans, so I guess it was not
Yeah.
technically the same thing, obviously, but regardless, they're a bunch of bad people. Well, I guess to be fair, Red Guardian wasn't really bad. He was just put in
Yeah.
a bad situation. He was all right.
It sounds interesting, though.
Hey, I don't think it was a bad movie by any means, but I mean, I would definitely say if anybody's going in just expecting it to be like some revelation, then like temper those expectations.
Well, it's I feel like expectations. I feel like there would be a lot of people that probably will be disappointed with it because it is the first MCU movie we've gotten in 2 years. And I think that people are, even though it wasn't supposed to be, it was supposed to be out last year. It was supposed to be out last May. I mean, this movie is over a year and 3 months delayed. So
Mm-hmm.
this movie should have just been the pit stop after Infinity Saga on the way to whatever the next saga is in the MCU. And unfortunately, because of the pandemic, it becomes kind of built up maybe more than it can fulfill by being the first MCU movie post pandemic, like the first one in 2 years.
If anything,
So
that might help it though, because people will just be like
think
happy to
so?
be, yeah, because they'll just be happy to be back in the theater seeing
An MCU
an
film.
MCU movie. Yeah, like maybe.
Now, with Disney Plus,
It
do you have to
it
pay extra to watch it?
Yeah, it's $30.
Fuck. No, thank you.
well, here it cost me $38 to take Tracy and I to go see it. So,
Yeah.
Well, since it's on,
and if you get it
you
with
could just
Disney Premier Access, you can watch it over and over too. You don't have to
True.
watch it just the one time.
yeah, and I will say though, since it's on Disney Plus, I'm not necessarily condoning it by any means, but you could just download it somewhere, because
And
it's there.
well,
Like, it is what
and
it
I
is.
paid $38, but I also saw it on a IMAX screen, so there's that part of
Yeah,
it too.
for sure. I would rather spend the
For
30
for
bucks
me,
in
that's
the theater than at home.
yeah,
Like,
for me that the screen and the sound and that experience is worth it to me.
the only reason that I would have been the only reason I would suggest it be like like, I don't know, like, since it's not anything you'd have to really like just the movie theater experience for this movie to be worth it to you, because like, it's not there are some big action set pieces, but not really until the end, and it's kinda quick, and they don't really live in it for too long, and it's really nothing you haven't seen before, so if you go to the theater mainly for big spectacles, I really wouldn't say this qualifies, so, like, if you have a nice big TV, you'll probably be fine, but if you
So
really
you
like the
wouldn't.
movies, you're
Doesn't work for
probably already
you.
gonna go to the movies anyway.
Yeah.
So if you need a nice big TV, then that means you didn't watch it at home. Then
Huh?
I'm just joking. I was trying to make it sound like you have a stupid TV.
I have a 77-inch OLED,
I
dude.
know. No, your TV's like
My
OP.
TV is better than some movie screens, man, at least as far as quality and colors go.
Your TV's OP compared to my Insignia 720p 32-inch LED.
Yeah, 'cause the thing is, you go to a shitty theater and they use dim bulbs and they don't have nice dual laser projection, like, you honestly don't have a very crisp picture.
Dude, I
It's
worked at
just
a
a big
movie.
screen.
The movie theater I worked at as a kid literally still did film rolls. Shit was crazy.
I mean, yeah, if they're doing that, then I can assure you that my TV has a better picture,
Yeah.
for sure.